Now let me tell you something that nobody is talking about. You've been taught to have a nervous system, a muscular system, and a circulatory system. But you were never taught about the system that connects all of them into a unified field. That's called the fascia. And it might change how you understand awakening forever. See, fascia isn't wrapped around the muscles. It's a continuous, uninterrupted web from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. And there's absolutely no separation. No edges, no isolated parts. You're not built in pieces, you're built in tension. And here's where it gets interesting. Collagen, the main component of fascia, behaves like a liquid crystal. Liquid crystals conduct information. They respond to pressure. They respond to electrical charge, which means every time your heart beats, it's not just pumping blood. It's pulsing mechanical waves through a conductive web that spans your entire body. I'll let that sink in. Your heart may be rhythmically charging your connective tissue. Now, here's the part that nobody talks about. Fascia is loaded with sensory receptors, more than the muscles, more than we give it credit for. So when people say, I feel disconnected from my body, that might not be an emotional language. That might be literal signal distortion in their fascial network. Awakening might not just be a mental expansion. It might be structural recalibration. And if that's true, then the path to awareness is not just meditation. It's hydration, breath, movement, and release. Because stiff fascia equals distorted signal. And distorted signals equals distorted perception. And that is just the beginning. Now let's look at the architecture of trauma. Let's go deeper. Your body is built on something called tensegrity, continuous tension and discontinuous compression. Think of it like a suspension bridge. Now imagine trauma. Trauma isn't just a memory in the brain, it's a chronic protective tension. And fascia adapts to repeated tension patterns. It thickens, it densifies, and it reorganizes along stress lines. Which means trauma isn't remembered. It's geometrically embedded. And that's not metaphor, that's geometry. And here's the psychological punch. If your structure shifts, your perception shifts, because your sensory information is filtered through tension patterns. So two people can walk into the same room and their bodies will interpret safety differently. Not because of belief, but because of structural conditioning. You don't just hold on to trauma emotionally, you hold it architecturally. And awakening may require re-architecting the body. Now that's not forcing positivity, and it's certainly not bypassing the shadows. It's just a case of releasing stored tension so perception can recalibrate. Now here's something almost nobody explores. Fascia is highly hydrated, and hydrated tissue conducts better. The dehydrated fascia becomes sticky, and sticky fascia restricts glide between the layers, and restricted glide distorts mechanical signaling. Now connect this. If collagen is semiconductive and the heart produces the strongest electromagnetic field in the body, then the fascial web distributes mechanical waves. Now, when your state of coherence may depend on how well this matrix can transmit rhythm. That's not spiritual language, that's biophysics. Coherence might not just be emotional harmony, it might be mechanical harmony. When people feel in flow, their tissues glide, their breath expands, their tension reduces. Flow might be a structural event. Now, we've been taught the brain is the seat of consciousness. But distributed systems are more resilient than centralized ones. Look at the universe. Galaxies connected by filaments. No single center controlling everything. Stability through tension networks. Now look at the fascia. A continuous web holding organs, muscles, nerves, integrity. What if awareness isn't just natural filing? What if it's part of the awareness structural coherence across Tensegrity fields? And what if awakening feels expansive because your tension patterns are softening? What if insight lands deeper because signal clarity improves? This isn't mystical, it's structural awareness. And here's the psychological hook that makes it stick. If you change your structure, you change your perception. If you change your perception, you change your reality. Not by thinking differently, but by reorganizing the tension. That's called embodiment. That's integration. That's awakening brought down from abstracts into architecture. And maybe, just maybe, the next era of consciousness won't be about escaping the body. It'll be about understanding the web that has always been holding us together. I'll let that sink in.